Uh, Good afternoon. First of all, I want to thank you, Coach Burke, for allowing me to come and kind of share with you some knowledge that I've learned over the years from some great coaches and great players, and I'm excited. My name is Christopher Browne. I'm the tight ends and the assistant offensive line coach here at Southern University. We're Division One HBCU in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Today, our main focus will be about tackling guard pass sets, as well as defender hat rush reads. So I'm excited to kind of share this wisdom with you guys, and I hope that everybody enjoys it. If you have any questions, you can follow me on Twitter and DM me at Coach Browne72. That's Brown with an E at the end. So let's make sure we get it right. All right. So first of all, I want to give a special thanks to my head coach, Coach Dawson Odoms. He's also a mentor of mine. I actually am an alumnus of Southern University, and he was my head coach my final season. So I just want to thank him for giving me the opportunity to join his staff. Now, these are some of my offensive line coach mentors that I really appreciate that have transformed my life and allowed me to be the man that I am in the profession. First off, Cedric Williams, he's a mentor of mine. At the time I was at Morehouse College as the offensive line coach, he was a mentor. He allowed me to come to Georgia State, opened up his office, opened up everything to me, and allowed me just to kind of glean on him, learn everything I could possibly learn. Next, Coach Brandon Jones, he's a mentor of mine. He's the offensive line coach and the offensive coordinator at University of Houston. I just met him through email. So young coaches, if you don't believe they'll respond to emails, they will. But you have to build relationships. And I built the relationship with Coach Jones, and he's been a blessing to me. He's done letters of recommendation for me. He sent me information. We can text at any point, talk on the phone. I really appreciate him. Coach Chennis Berry, he's near and dear to me as far as he was the first mentor that I had fresh out of college, as far as him taking me under his wing. And he allowed me to come to spring practices. He was the offensive line coach actually at Southern when I left. So he was not my offensive line coach when I played here, but his first season, that following spring, he allowed me to come in and learn under him and taught me a lot of the things that I say and do, even some of my mannerisms. I watched so much Chennis Berry film that it's ridiculous. Coach Robert McFarland, when I was an offensive line GA at Louisiana Tech, he taught me so much in the short time that I was there, just about things on and off the football field. He taught me about coaching, how coaches watch coaches coach on film at practice. So just little things like that. I really appreciate Coach McFarland. Coach Brian LePack, he's actually the current offensive line coach and run game coordinator here at Southern. And just learning from him, I just like being a fly on the wall when he's talking. He's been at University of Oklahoma. He's been at University of Indiana. So he's been at some phenomenal places, and he's been sharing. We've been going back and forth, talking to one another, just learning and building our rapport and our relationship. And last but not least, Coach Robert Valdez. He's the head coach at St. James High School out here in Louisiana, and he's been a mentor of mine since I started the coaching profession. I've always been able to lean on him. He helped me get some jobs. We've been going back and forth. I actually recently seen him at a golf outing. Me and him both didn't want to swing. So, but I'm very, very, very excited to have these gentlemen that are on this screen have such a huge impact on my life as an offensive line mind. So just a little bit about me before we get started. I was born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. So I'm excited about this podcast, like I said, because Ohio is the birthplace, is the base, the heart and soul of football. To me, I attended Shaker Heights High School. Coach David Sedmack was my head coach. I was a three-time All-SWAC and All-American Offensive Tackle at Southern University. Like I said, I played here, so it means something to me every day. I get to come into this office and coach and give back to this university. I started out my coaching career as an offensive graduate assistant, academic advisor, and personal development director at Lincoln University, Missouri, in Jefferson City, Missouri. So that was my first stop as a coach. Mike the Tackle Jones was the head coach from the St. Louis Rams, as well as I really want to thank Coach Mark Frederick for giving me the opportunity to come down there and start my coaching career. After that, I briefly was offensive GA at Jackson State University. Tony Hughes was the head coach, and Chad Germany gave me the opportunity. He was the offensive coordinator at that time. I then followed up briefly. I was at Jackson State, and I got a call to come down to be the offensive line coach and run game coordinator at Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia, under Coach Rich Freeman, and Harry Williams was the offensive coordinator. So I thank those guys for giving me opportunity. After I spent a couple seasons there at Morehouse, had a lot of fun there, learned a lot about football. I went on to Louisiana Tech, where I became an assistant offensive line coach and graduate assistant, like I said earlier. under Coach Robert McFarland. So it was a great and outstanding time. I learned so much about football on and off the field in that brief time I was there. Thank you, Coach Skip Holtz, for giving me that opportunity. And currently, I'm the tight ends and assistant offensive line coach here at Southern University. I'm learning so much more about the game of football that I never learned just by learning from Coach Zach Rossi, who's our offensive coordinator, Coach Marshall, our receiver coach, Coach Warner, who's our running backs coach. Even our offensive graduate assistant, Coach Loper, has taught me a lot. And, of course, Coach LePac. I'm just learning so much about offensive football that I got my head out of just offensive line mode, and now I'm understanding what the receivers are doing, what the defensive backs are doing, what the linebackers are doing, what everybody is doing. So it's been a true blessing just to step out of that room and come into this room and learn so much about the game of football. So I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited about the upcoming spring season that we're having here at Southern University. So just a little bit about my coaching philosophy, what I believe in, and what I teach. As a coach, no matter what room I'm coaching in, this has been my philosophy since day one when I got my first room. So I have an acronym called T.R.I.L.L. That's the acronym that I represent in my room and whatever we're doing. That T represents tenacity. I believe in the game of football, you have to have an extremely violent attitude, demeanor, and approach to the game of football. You have to also have a sense of urgency to the game of football. If you don't have that violent mentality and you don't love this game of football, it's probably not the sport for you. You'll probably go out there and get hurt. So you have to have a level of tenacity to the game of football, responsibility. And I think this is something that I definitely try to hone in on today's generation and the young men that I'm coaching. Is taking full ownership in life, in school, and on the football field. So just making sure that we're taking full responsibility. When we take full responsibility, we're able not to play the blame with anyone in any aspect of our life. So that's very important to me that I drive home responsibility to the young men in my room. Interchangeable. So this is kind of a shift that I made because I'm coaching tight ends. We're that Swiss Army knife of the offense, and we have to be adaptable on and off the field. But just in anything in life, the best ability that you can have is availability as well as adaptability. You have to be able to transform. Just like in today's time, us as coaches, we have to transform. There's a huge pandemic going on. We had to transform to Zoom. We had to transform to being more hands-off. So being interchangeable is something I love to drive home to my young men. Being linked up, we have to be a close-knit brotherhood. We have to respect one another. So in this day and time, it's important to build those relationships in the room in the social media day and age, still building those genuine, intimate relationships as a group, as young men. We don't have to be lovey-dovey, but we have to have a level of respect and a level of love for one another so that we can operate and go through war with one another. Last but not least, this is my favorite pillar in my room, is being locked in. We have to have a level of supreme focus on our goals on and off the football field. So you have to be able to block everything out and spend quality, intimate time every day with your craft, in the classroom, in your personal relationships, at home. So it's very important for me that I drive home these coaching philosophies of T.R.I.L.L. It's something I stand by. I'll stand by this in my coaching profession the whole time that I'm coaching the game of football. So those are my coaching philosophies that I stand by as a coach. So the foundation. So now we're getting into pass protection. We're going to talk a little bit about just the basic foundation of the pass game. All right, the basic foundation. First thing first, the foundation of the pass game is predicated upon the protection of the quarterback. All right, so the quarterback can't throw the ball. He can't make his reads. He can't do anything without us protecting the quarterback. All right. In pass protection, the center and guards are responsible for the depth of the pocket, while the tackles are responsible for the width of the pocket. All right. So in the game of football, the depth of that pocket, that means staying strong at the line of scrimmage. All right. Not getting put on the lap of the quarterback as the guards and as the tackle, allowing the width of the pocket to stay wide so that quarterback has room to move in and to survey the defense when he's making his checks down, making his reads and everything. It's very important that we protect and build that pocket properly in the pass game. Last but not least, execution, knowledge of assignment, and technique allow for a clean pocket. All right, so we have to execute. We got to get the job done first and foremost. Secondly, we have to know where we're going and why we're going there. All right, so it's important with this generation that we teach them how to do it. We have to tell them why. I always wanted to know from my coaches when I was playing, why am I doing this? So I always tell them why they're doing it. All right. And then the technique is critical. Of course, offensive line, there are millions of different ways that offensive line coaches, tight ends coaches teach certain things. But it's important that you go with what works for you as a coach. So the technique is very important, and that allows for a clean pocket. So that's kind of the foundation, just getting into the pass game. All right. So the 4 key pass protection elements. So these are the 4 key elements of the pass protection. The first thing is the set. So that set that guard or that tackle or that center makes is dependent upon the play call. It's dependent upon as well the line call and the alignment of the defender. So the set that you're making, whether you're making a jump set, whether you're making a vertical set, whether you're making an angle set, if you're a guard, whether you're making a stab set, that's all predicated upon what we're calling, how that defender is lined up, and what the line call is that the center decides to make. The punch. So striking the defender is the next key element when we're talking about pass protection. All right. So the strike, the timing of the punch. My elbows, are they tight to my body so I can strike that defender? What is the defender giving me to strike? All right. So those are the key elements when we're talking about the punch and this element of pass protection. All right. The next thing, the mirror. Am I properly covering the defender? So when I make my set, all right, am I properly covering that defender so that I can be in the best position possible to execute my assignment, to get in a position to punch the guy? Am I covering that defender? So, of course, probably the most world-renowned offensive line drill is probably the mirror drill. And Coach Berry, I actually learned the tackle mirror drill from him, which is another form of the mirror drill. So did I mirror that defender? Am I in front of that defender, staying between him and the quarterback? Last but not least, the recovery. So countering the defender's move. All right. So example, if a defender gives you a bull rush, how have I countered? So I had a great set, I had a great punch, but this guy is bullying me. So what's my recovery? So our job as coaches are to teach how to counter the defender's move. All right. Am I doing the double hop? Am I reach fighting to get my hands back inside? Am I sitting low? Are my hips out and loose so that I can sit down and absorb the blow and sit there and allow the quarterback to get the ball off? So these are the 4 key pass protection elements that we're talking about when we're talking about pass pro. All right. So the first set that we're going to talk about today is the vertical set. All right. The vertical set by the offensive tackle. All right. So we're talking about tackle sets right now. All right. So the tackle set with strong inside hand presence to sort out games. All right. So a lot of the time the vertical set is used, and the times that I've been in the offensive line room as the offensive line coach, I had it built into my protection that if it was a 3 and a 5 to that side, the tackle would automatically vertical set, because a lot of times when you're to that 3 and a 5 side, you get a lot of TE twists, you get a lot of games. So you never want to be in a bad position to where you cannot take on the games and be able to sort the games out. So the first thing about that vertical set, the tackle sets with hand presence on the inside. All right. The kick that the tackle makes is dependent upon the depth and width of the defender. So you never want to overset. And that's one thing that us as offensive line coaches, we always try to drive home. We never want to overset the defender. We always want to remain in great T.R.I.L. relationship, which I'll talk about in a second. But it's very important not to overset and to stay in great relationship between yourself and the defender, which is half a man. All right. The tackles kick straight back and keeps his shoulders square as long as possible for the ability to react to gains and not give up a short edge. So when you're vertical set, you want to make sure that you remain square. If you open up your shoulders too early, you can possibly give a short edge. All right. So you think that you're kicking straight back. If you open your shoulders up way too early, you're giving a short edge and you're allowing that defender, all right, to get a short edge to the quarterback and possibly get a sack. All right. And then, like I said, we must remain in great T.R.I.L. relationship. This is something I learned from Coach Berry as well, as far as T.R.I.L. relationship. That means that you never want this defender, when you're kicking straight back, like this picture that you see from this offensive tackle right here, Jatari Carter, who's our left tackle, you want to make sure, all right, that this defender is not in front of this hand right here, your inside hand. So if I'm the left tackle, and this is my right hand, you see he has his hand up. You never want that defender to be in front of that hand. You always want to have a great T.R.I.L. relationship. Your inside hand is your trail hand. So you always want to be inside out of that defender. So that's very important in your vertical set. So that's basically just some key caveats as far as the vertical set. Here is a video really quickly of us against Alcorn State last year. Here the left tackle is going against a twist, and he's working right here, his vertical set. He's staying as square as long as possible. He has strong inside hand presence, as you can see right here, and they're able to sort out the twist game to allow the quarterback to get the ball off. All right, so it's very, very, very critical. All right, when we're talking about vertical setting, we have that. You see that B gap threat that we have right here with this 3 technique, that wide 3. All right, we learned the vertical set. we can kind of pick up, and it's our job as coaches to give them different tendencies that the defense makes, all right, to show whether or not they're running the twist game. I'm having a little technical difficulties. One second. Were you able to see that clearly, Coach Burke?
Yes, you can see it good.
All right, great. But again, as you can see, it's very, very, very critical. We get this look right here that we vertical set, kick straight back. And like we said, our kick is dependent upon how this defender, the alignment of this defender, and remaining in great trail technique and trail relationship with the defender. So he doesn't have to kick back and take 3 kick steps before he settles down. He sees something funky's going on with this front, so he decides that I'm not going to just kick straight back. I'm going to sort this thing out, and I'm going to pick up the twist. All right, so it's very important. This is just a great look against a twist look. So the next set that we want to talk about is the angle set. All right, the angle set is a more aggressive set at an angle to cover the defender properly and attack this guy. All right, so the tackle sets at about a 45-degree angle when he's taking an angle set. And that kick, again, is dependent upon the alignment of the defender. So he's setting out. So now we're talking about, I heard a great offensive line coach say, we're basically playing basketball when we're out there on the edge. We're trying to stay in front of that defender. We're trying to move our feet. And we have to be violent with our hands. Of course, we already talked about earlier, keeping that trail relationship. All right. The timing of the punch on the angle set is critical and remaining inside out. All right. So the timing of that punch, all right, is my head back out of the block? Am I punching? Are my elbows tight? All right, so when we're working that angle set, it's very important because most of the time you're on that man side. All right, most of the time you're not getting that twist when it's a shade in the 5. But it's important that you remain inside out. All right, and it's important that you strike that defender, get your head out of that block, and that you move your feet. All right, so this is the angle set. So it's a little bit different. It's a little bit more violent. It kind of goes in congruence with the jump set. Okay, so right here, this is a picture of our left tackle again. That first kick that I'm taking is always going to be dependent upon where this defender's aligned. Now, he's already tight on me. I don't have any B-gap threat right now, so I can go ahead and angle set this guy. All right, so again, this tackle did not kick straight back or kick out too wide at a 45-degree angle. He settled inside. He realized I really only need to really pick it up and put it down and just strike the defender. All right, decent timing of the punch. He could have did a better job of not lunging at the defender. He lunged at the defender. All right, and he kind of got overextended, but he did a great job with his angle set of setting, settling, and striking the defender. All right, his good punch allowed and saved him from a bad job of him lunging and overextending himself at the defender. So that's just a good depiction right there of an angle set by our left tackle, T.R.I.L.L. All right, so now we're talking about some guard sets. All right, some guard set. So this is the stab set. Right here by a guard. The stab set is used when there's a tight technique over the defender. All right, so if the guard has a tight 3 technique or a 2-eye or a guy that's head up on him, he wants to use the stab set. So the stab set is an attack step at the defender with a quick strike. So he's stepping. You're going to see on the next video, he's stabbing that guy. He's taking a stab step with his outside foot at the defender, and he's striking that guy immediately. It's so important as far as a guard that you get your hands and good strike on that defender. All right, punching in an upward motion on that defender as quickly as possible so that you can keep the integrity of the line of scrimmage and not get beat inside. So you still, as a guard, even though it's a stab set, it's an aggressive jump set, you still want to remain inside out, as well as you still want to be as violent as possible with your hands. You still want to explode with your hips. You still want to get your head out of the block, and you still want to mirror that defender, which is the same elements that we talked about when we said those pass protection elements. All right, so this is a good video of the stab set by our right guard. If you look at our right guard right here, he's taking a stab set. See his outside foot. All right. The first thing he does is stab that outside foot at the defender. All right. The defender still decides to come inside, but because he just stabs his hands, he stabs his foot, gets his hands on the defender as quickly as possible, he's able to recover. All right. So it's very important with that stab set that when we stab our outside foot, we get our hands on that defender as quickly as possible. All right. And we move our feet, stab, move his feet. All right. Another great thing that I've learned, Coach Burke, actually over the last few years, I used to be big on pound the post, pound the post, pound the post, keeping that post foot forward, is as of late, as an offensive line mind, it's very important with that post foot. If you're getting beat inside, that guy makes an inside move. I've learned that dropping that post foot actually allows you to recover a lot better and a lot faster All right, and it allows you to move your hips and get over there a lot faster. Me and Coach LePack were actually talking about that a few weeks ago, just how important it is when the defender does make a move inside, that you drop that post for a little bit. And this is what Jonathan Bishop does right here, and it allows him to recover so that the quarterback can get the ball out. So that's our stab set right there. It's an aggressive jump set. All right. The last set that we're going to be talking about is the one-step set. All right, the one-step set. So the one-step set is used when the guard is covered by a wider technique. All right, so we have a wider three, as you can see in the depiction right here over Jeremiah Abbey, who graduated last season. He has a wide three technique. The guy's not even really covering him in a technique. He's in a wide three, kind of playing the gap, kind of a gap defense that we were going against. All right, this set requires the guard to take a slight angle set to cover the defender and be prepared to strike violently. All right, so now he has more of a mind of a tackle here. I'm taking a slight angle set. I still want to be inside out. I still want to have a great trail relationship. I still want to strike, keep my elbows tight when I'm working this one-step set. All right, the guard must maintain the integrity of the line of scrimmage. It's so critical that we protect that depth of the pocket as a guard, even if we're taking an angle set. We're not a tackle. We're not protecting the depth of the pocket. I'm sorry, the width of the pocket, but we're protecting that depth. So we cannot just allow the guy to just run straight up the field on us. We want to cover that guy, strike, and maintain the integrity of the line of scrimmage, okay? So this is a video, all right, last season with the left guard right here. He has a wide technique. The guy's basically in a 4-eye, all right? The tackle right here is calling a fan call or out call, a universal call, that there's an outside technique and he needs the fan. So the guard has to work a different set. He knows that I'm responsible for this defensive tackle, defensive end guy in this odd look, and I have to get out there and get him. All right, so this is a 1 second. All right, so here we go. So again, he's responsible for getting out there. The tackle made a fan call, so his job right here is going to be to hold on. I'm glad you edited. Sure. All right. So his job right here is going to be to take a slight angle set. So you'll see him take his one-step set as a left guard. Now he gets some help from his buddies right here. He takes a one-step set, strikes the defender. He's a little too high right here, but he gets help. As you can see, the center and the left tackle are clean in the pocket. All right. The left tackle's assignment did not come. All right. So he did an outstanding job of taking a one-step set. So if I have a wide technique, or I have to fan out as a guard, all right, it's my job to make sure that I take that one-step set. I keep great trail relationship. I strike at the time. My timing of the punch is critical, all right? So that's a one-step set right there by the left guard. Quarterback's able to get the ball out, all right? And it's very important that we clean the pocket. If we're looking for work, we definitely want to clean the pocket and help our buddies out along the line of scrimmage. All right, so the next thing that we're going to go ahead and transition into is understanding the hat reads. All right, this is a great thing that I've learned from several coaches. I know a lot of offensive line coaches call it shoulder reads. I know that's what certain coaches call it, different types of reads on how to read what the defender is about to do in his rush move. All right, so for me, just how I define it as is the hat read basically is the read of the defender is used to determine which type of rush the defender is attempting to use. So I teach this to my guys basically so that they'll know and kind of be prepared for what's to come from the defender. All right, so the first hat read that we're going to talk about, all right, is the attack hat read. The attack hat read is basically shows us that defender is looking to attack the middle of us. He's coming straight down the middle. He's not showing any speed. He's not showing that he's trying to trick us. He's saying, I'm stronger than you. My head is pointing directly at your head. I'm coming down the middle of your numbers, and I'm trying to basically run you over. All right, so with this hat read, we must prepare for a bull rush from the defender and be ready to strike the defender. All right. Another thing with these type of attack hat reads, we also have to be ready not only for the bull rush, but also the push-pull type. So those type of aggressive rushes that you get. All right, it's important that we make sure that we're low, that we strike the defender with our hands inside, depending on what type of where the defender is, if it's over the guard or the tackle, get our hands on that guy as quick as possible and working that last element of pass protection that we talked about, which is the recovery aspect of it. If he gives me bull, I need to make sure that I work on my double hop, get my hands back inside, and make sure that I sit and allow time for the quarterback to be able to get the ball out. So as you can see, our bull right here over here in the GIF of him running over that guy. So we don't want to be this guy that's in the crowd. Now, we don't want to be that guy. All right. So this is a quick video of our hat read right here. This is the right tackle. So he gets a aggressive attack read, hat read. All right. So he's over here. All right. The guy shows I'm coming right down the middle of you. He's trying to bull rush our tackle right here. Our tackle does a good job of recovering right here. Jodeci Harris right here, he finished last year. Again, he's showing an aggressive bull rushing hat read. My hat is down the middle. I'm coming in between your numbers. I'm trying to get in your chest. It's important. He did a great job of double hopping, sitting down and allowing the quarterback to get the ball out of his hands to one of our better receivers that just graduated as well. All right, so that's an attack hat read. All right, so the next hat read is our dance hat read. All right, so the dance hat read is what you get when the defender is trying to trick us or juke us or whatever you want to call it. All right, whenever you get that hat read, it shows that the defender is trying to make an inside move on us. All right, so he's jacking his head like this person over here, right here in this GIF. All right, so we have to prepare ourselves for an inside move. This hat read can also notify us that a twist is about to happen. So whenever you see a defender break down, don't come off the ball with full speed, be prepared for a game or be prepared for an inside move by the defender. All right. So the great coach McFarland told me when we're talking about a dance read, whenever a defender does a dance read or a dance move, 90% of the time, that defender is going to make an inside move. All right. I'm not putting my paycheck on it, Coach Burke, but I promise you. I've been looking at it, and ever since Coach told me that, a lot of the times that defender decides to go inside. So it's very critical that we understand something funky is about to happen when that defender gives you that hat read of a dance read. All right, so this is a clip that I found. It wasn't the greatest clip in the world, but this is a clip that I found over our left tackle, T.R.I.L.L right here. He has a wide rush linebacker right here, and he gets that dance hat read. All right, he does a great job of keeping great trail relationship. He stays inside of that defender, and he's able to react and recover when that guy gives him that dance hat read. So again, I'll play it again. He getting that dance hat read, jacking, trying to come inside. We shut it down. Quarterback steps up in the pocket. He's able to get the ball out. All right, so that's that dance hat read. When you get that dance hat read, I'm telling you, Coach Burke, don't put your check on it either, but about it. It's a 90% chance that guy's trying to make an inside move. All right. Last but not least, that speed read. All right, that speed rush. All right, it's 3rd and long. It's 3rd and 7 to 10. All right, they know we're past setting. They understand that we're trying to get the ball down the field. 2-minute drill. You get a lot of speed rush action. All right, so this hat read shows that the defender is trying to make a speed rush move to get up the field. He's not really looking at you. He's not looking at anything. He's not dancing. He's not trying to attack you initially. He's just trying to shoot up the field, all right, and beat you with his speed. We must remain inside out of the defender and run him past the quarterback if we don't get a good initial punch on him. It's critical to keep our shoulders square and not overset. All right. So one thing, Coach, when you're dealing with a speed rusher and we game planning, and we know that we're dealing against a speed rusher, tackles tend to get it caught up in their mind that they have to rush and kick out. But a lot of times, great speed rushers counter with that dance hat read that we talk about. So even with that speed hat read, it's always important never to overset. You can always run that guy up the field, but if you get beat inside by a speed rusher because you overset, it's a disaster for the quarterback. All right, so it's critical. It's critical that we keep that great trail relationship and punch what that defender does give us once he gets into our punch zone. All right, so this is a speed rush hat read right here by the left tackle. As you can see right here, this defender, you're going to see him just scream up the field. All right. He's not giving us a bull hat read. He's screaming up the field, and then he's engaging with us. Once we open up, he's engaging with us. When he feels like he gets to the level of the quarterback, that's when that speed rusher decides to turn inside. All right, T.R.I.L does a pretty decent job right here of keeping a great trail relationship between him and the defender and not letting that guy inside, and he shuts it down. All right, so this is a pretty solid job by T.R.I.L. He could have did a little better job of keeping his shoulders square, but he does a great job right here when he's dealing with that speed rush hat read. All right, that speed rush hat read. All right, so I just wanted to be really quick and really brief with you today. I really want to thank you, Coach Burke and the Blockers Offensive Line Academy, just for allowing me to share some quick practical things about offensive line play. Again, I really enjoy watching your channel. I really enjoy watching what you're doing as far as with offensive line play and just getting it out there and just showing that Ohio is the best high school football and college football in the world. Just throw that out there. But I really just want to thank you for having me and just allowing me to share.